Hello and welcome to what we've got in the workshop. So these videos are a bit more about what we're doing in terms of actual work rather than in terms of spending what we earn from working. This is a rather cool car to start it off with. This is a E30 BMW with some very wide arches to it.
Fantastic for putting your cup of tea on.
I wouldn't dare put anything anywhere near this car. So, from what I understand, the customer bought this car specifically because of the arches, which they're steel, aren't they?
They are
steel, not just fiberglass.
They're complete custom-made front and rear arches, and they're done very well. There's no plastic in there at all; it's all metal.
So, from what the gentleman who owns this car told us, when you're looking for a wide arch BMW, there's many of them, and many of them have loads of faults and kind of things wrong with them. And this was kind of a perfect example of how to do these arches, which is why he bought it. And the car was modified when he got it? A bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the car was modified when he bought it, but it wasn't to his exacting standards. Basically, the outside of the car was much better done than the inside of the car. So he spent the last 3 years or so stripping it down and rebuilding it into what he wanted the car to be in the first place, and he's done a very good job.
So I've actually completely forgotten about this part. Me and Mike were just talking about the engine, which is an M20B25, did you say?
M20B25, M20B25. It was an M20B25, but it's now been bored and stroked out to a 2.9.
So that's from 2.5 up to 2.9.
Yeah. And
I completely forgot one vital part of this engine build, which is around here, hopefully, because I didn't see it on the other side.
The road track supercharger, set down there.
So that should make... Any idea what power this thing makes?
No idea. I think he's hoping for 450-ish.
Yeah, I think from what you're saying, do you want to go over the top because he wants it to be quite usable on road and track, doesn't he?
Yeah, he wants to be able to use it on the road. I think he said he thinks it's about 450 at the minute, but he could go down a belt size, a pulley size, sorry, on the supercharger, which would be quite nice. But in order to do that, he needs it to breathe a little bit better, which is why it's here.
Just before we get to that, one of my favourite parts of this car is the interior. I'm just going to open the door and show you inside that. The interior is really cool. It's perfect for the style of car, I think. So it's got a cage in it, safety devices cage, no rear seats. I'm not sure what model these Recaros are, but they're a rather fitting seat with the harnesses. And it's all just kind of black and very kind of black carbon. It kind of has a real nice 80s vibe to it, I think, which suits the outside of the car perfectly.
All the old school print, that's actually like the proper raised print on this. Nice.
Yeah, it's a really nicely done interior on this, which will go perfectly with the really nice exhaust that Michael was going. So we're doing a full undercar and manifold on this one, aren't we?
We are doing a full manifold and undercar. Yeah, the car came when he bought it, had an exhaust system on it already, but it wasn't. It didn't match the standard that the rest of the car is built to now. So we're going to change that, and we're going to make something very fancy and very fitting to go with the build quality of the rest of the vehicle.
So we didn't anything drastically different other than improving the quality of it, or is it is the size the same?
Most of the sizes are the same. We're going to have a more continuous size down the car and slightly larger to cope with the boring, stroking, and the fact that it is now forced induction.
So you said the sizing is obviously changing down the car. Why is that a bad thing? Other than obviously if it gets smaller it's restricting, but other than that, is there an issue with that at all?
Oh, I mean, the original exhaust system was designed and made, well, I say designed, loosely put together, and based around the original 2.5 litre engine, a normally aspirated engine in there, and obviously with a lot more bore, stroke, and forced induction, there is a lot more gas going through. So we're going to raise the sizes of the pipework in the manifold and in the secondary pipes and in the full system, just to allow the gases to flow nicely out the back of the car and give him the response and reliability that it needs.
And I think with the manifold as well, from the words coming out of the workshop when you were removing it, it wasn't the easiest thing to remove.
No, so this being a track car obviously gets worked on quite a lot. So we like to make all of our stuff where we can, where's possible, make it as easy to install and remove as possible. So if you do need to get to a part in or around the exhaust system, it should be very easy to take off.
So
this is the one that we've come up with. It's still got a bit of the tape on here from when we've been purging it. But this is basically our revision to that original manifold. Now these are all equal length pipes. They are using proper merge collectors instead of just the pipes meeting at some point.
So a merge collector is basically where the pipe join to a point. Is that the best way of describing it?
Yeah, I mean, essentially yes. Imagine if you've got all the pipes going in together, the correct shape is cut round so that the gases actually merge nicely, and they do have a point in the middle. I don't know if you can see that in there. I'll show you. Can you see that in there?
You can, I think. Just about. Oh, there we go.
So if you can see, there's a point in the middle, and what that means is the gases meet each other, and air is actually some scavenging properties to that. So when the gas passes through one part of the collector, it will try and suck through from other parts of the collector. If you don't have a merge collector like this, they can actually cause turmoil inside that added back pressure, which again is not really what you want on a car like this.
And on this particular manifold, this is obviously 6 into 2, then into 1 further down the exhaust.
Yes,
is it?
that's correct. Yeah.
Why is that beneficial to doing 6 straight into 1, or I know it's most BMWs have done like this.
Yes and no. It's less beneficial on a forced induction engine. However, it is very helpful with room on this engine. So to get this past, there's actually, when that's bolted up to the engine, I'll show you later, there's a steering column that runs right down here. Now if we had a larger 6 into 1 collector around this area, we wouldn't be able to fit it in. There's not very much room to fit a 6 into 1 collector down there and to get the lengths required for the correct flow. So that is why we do a 6 into 2 into 1. It does help with torque and other flow characteristics as well, but it starts to get quite technical.
It's done.
It's finished. I have completed the car. I suppose you want me to tell you a bit about it, don't you?
Yes, please.
So you saw the manifold that we put on there. The manifold ends up here, and you can see the clearance for the steering column is up there. It's a little bit tight, but there's not a busting amount of room. The collectors had to go in that position to get the correct lengths for the exhaust manifold. From that point, we have a twin system that goes to the centre of the car. We did a twin system to here in order to allow the engine to create as much torque as possible. It's a bit of a complicated calculation, that to do with back pressure and lengths. So even if though this is a supercharged car, it still does rely on a little bit of back pressure just to make sure the mixture is correct inside the cylinders. That is why we went for quite long secondaries, which go to a centre point here. We tried to fit the largest silencer we could fit in the middle section because we wanted to take this car on track. So that splits from 2 2¼ into 1 3-inch pipe. So that silencer is 3-inch in there. Moving further to the back of the car, it is a pipe that runs, gives you plenty of clearance underneath, so you won't be knocking it and banging it or anything. Plenty of clearance to the drive shaft. And then we have another even larger silencer at the back, again to reduce noise. And then we have a tailpipe, 2 3-inch outlets on the back of the system, and that is so it looks pretty.
This is 3-inch, isn't it?
This is 3-inch, yeah. The reason we didn't do a full twin system all the way back like most of the BMWs is mainly weight. The one 3-inch tube is considerably lighter than the two 2¼ inch tubes that we would have used if we were going to go all the way back. And obviously it's trying to get the car around the track as fast as possible, so the lightest option is what we went for.